Welcome back, Trailblazers. Before we dive into today's episode, I want to take a moment to talk about a tool that has completely transformed the way I plan and navigate my hikes, AllTrails Plus. As a Trailheads ambassador and the organizer of the Yakima Valley Trekkers, I'm out on the trails a lot. One of my favorite features of AllTrails Plus is the ability to edit and create my own maps. Conditions change, fallen trees, washed out sections, or even a last-minute reroute. And with AllTrails Plus, I can adjust my route on the fly and share it with others so everyone stays informed and safe. AllTrails Plus also gives you offline maps, wrong turn alerts, and 3D trail previews to help you stay on track and make the most of your adventure. And the best part, you can get 30% off an AllTrails Plus membership with my exclusive link in the episode show notes. So whether you're planning your next big trek or just looking for a new trail to explore, AllTrails Plus has you covered. Check it out and let's hit the trail. Welcome to the Season 13 of the Hikes and Mikes podcast. I'm your host, Ivan, and each week we're hitting the trail through conversations with extraordinary hikers from across the United States and beyond. Winter brings its own kind of magic to the outdoors. Quiet forests dusted in snow, frosty ridgelines glowing in soft morning light, and trails that ask us to slow down, bundle up, and move with intention. This season, I've had the privilege of sitting down with hikers whose stories reflect the same sense of resilience and wonder. From snow-covered summit pushes and cold weather camping lessons to mindful miles on peaceful winter trails, their voices remind us that adventure doesn't hibernate, it simply changes shape. So zip up your puffy, pour something warm into your mug, and get ready. Season 13 is here, and the conversations ahead are as bold, reflective, and inspiring as the winter landscape we love. We're closing out Season 13 with an episode you will not want to miss. Kelsey Kurtis, photographer, author, adventurer, and certified force of nature, joins us for a conversation that covers everything from the Sierra Nevadas to the South Pole, and somehow ends with crotch-baked brownies. Kelsey grew up in Mammoth Lakes, California, and now calls Bellingham, Washington home, two mountain meccas that shaped her deep love for wild places. Over the past 15 years, she's built a career as a professional branding photographer, working primarily with women-owned businesses, authored The Connection Method, and grown a community that celebrates showing up unapologetically as yourself. She opens up about navigating ADHD and dyslexia, how her grandpa Paul's jewelry selling philosophy became the foundation for everything she teaches about human connection, and why branding yourself as you, not what you sell, is the key to building something that lasts. We dig into her iPhone photography tips, what makes a branding shoot actually feel like a person, and how her Too Much Club is creating a permission slip for people who've always been told they're too loud, too weird, or too much. Then Kelsey takes us to Antarctica, her #1 bucket list destination since she was 15, where she served as an expedition photographer, ugly cried on a Zodiac surrounded by icebergs, survived the Drake Passage with the help of a mystery pill, and let's not forget, she sang I Want It That Way with Howie from the Backstreet Boys. We also talked Jordan, Petra, Wadi Rum, the upcoming trip to Pakistan's Fairy Meadows, and her best insider tip for visiting Antarctica at a deeply discounted rate. We also talked Camp KK, her group travel series designed for women who want adventure, community, and professional photos of themselves looking epic in the mountains. Olympic National Park and the North Cascades are up first, with Iceland and Kenya on the horizon. And yes, we got into the crotch pot. If you don't know, you're about to find out. This conversation is also an official video episode, now available on our YouTube channel alongside this audio release. And there's a special after-credits story exclusively on the video episode that you won't hear anywhere else. Without further ado, let's jump into this episode with our guest, Kelsey Kurtis. Welcome, everyone, to the season finale of Hikes and Mikes, Season 13. I'm here with Kelsey Kurtis. You know her from Instagram, and she's going to be sharing so many good adventure stories, travel tips, photography tips. It's going to be a fun one, so you don't want to miss out. Kelsey, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast.
Thank you so so much.
We love that you're here, and we always like to start off by having our guests share a little bit about themselves and how they got started hiking.
Yeah, no, I'm so excited to be here. Hiking has always been part of my life, and I grew up going hiking in the Sierra Nevadas. I grew up in Mammoth Lakes, California, and now I'm based in Bellingham, Washington. So truly mountain mecca of the Sierra Nevadas to the Cascades. And I'm so grateful for that time because it really helped me find where I feel the most peace and where I just love to explore and create and just feel like myself. And so I'm really excited to start sharing my adventures traveling, backpacking, hiking, exploring. For the past 15 years, I've been a professional photographer. I specialize in branding photography, not product photography, but working especially with women-owned businesses where I create a custom image library of who they are, tell their story so they don't just post online being like, buy my stuff. But no, this is who I am. Let's connect human to human. And so photography has been my bread and butter and my passion. And I also am a branding educator. I've written a book about branding, and it really has come into play as I've been now sharing my outdoor adventures and travel and my wild antics out in the woods. So it really has been fun.
And I can't wait to get into some of these antics because you've really built a great brand online of not just photography, like you said, multiple facets. How do you blend all those things, the photography, the humor, the branding? How did that kind of come about for you?
Well, it was such an easy transition from exclusively sharing my photography to sharing travel and outdoors because I strategically branded me as me. And you learn about who I am. Yes, I'm a photographer, but you're connecting with Kelsey, and that is the brand. And I've set myself up for success that way so that if I did want to pivot in any way, it would be an easy flow because I'm still taking that Kelsey brand and it's me. And I can pivot it in whatever story I want to tell, whether it's through photography or as an author or a speaker or, adventuring in the woods or flying to a distant land or what have you. And so that's been super helpful knowing about branding and teaching about branding and then using everything that I've taught other people about branding to help really shift the narrative of how I'm sharing my story and what I'm doing. And so really defining what I've created called a connection-based brand, which is based on who you are, what you value, what others can expect from you, not just brand yourself based on what you sell. It's brand yourself based on who you are. Mm-hmm. That way you can maximize connection with people and you're able to shift and grow with your life and opportunities. So.
And I'm wondering if you can kind of expand on that because you did something special today. By the time this episode comes out, people will have seen it. You've helped us do a dance party here at this location. And I think for a lot of people, especially when they get on social media, it's hard to not necessarily be themselves, but to have that humor side being shown. Was there a point in your social media journey or your online journey where that kind of clicked off for you, where you just really didn't care about what people thought or said, and you did what really made you passionate or made you happy?
Well, here's what I tell everyone is if you want to start sharing who you are and putting yourselves out there, you need to figure out what motivates you, like from the core, and have a real strong, real conversation with yourself. And maybe that motivation is money, and there's no shame in that. Maybe that motivation is giving back. Find what motivates you. And for me, what motivates me more than anything on earth since the day I was born is impact. I feel the most like myself, the most powerful, the most confident when I can use my voice to impact others so that they can step into who they are and owning who they are. And when I see people do that, it just lights me on fire. And so what I've found working with business owners and creatives over time and just humans in general is we just want one thing, honestly. We just want one thing as humans, which is validation. Am I doing it right? Am I doing it right? Is this okay? And when you brand yourself as a connection-based brand that I really help other people do, you're able to self-validate yourself and know, okay, guys, this is who I am. This is what I stand for. This is what I value. This is who I am, planting my feet in the soil, take it or leave it. And when you have that sort of validation versus feeling like a 20-legged octopus going, well, this person's doing that. Maybe I should be that. Maybe I should be that. Maybe I should be that. And it's devaluing the things you can give. And whether it is inspiring a dance party or maybe creating impact in those smaller moments, it's finding out who you are, defining it and owning it. But it also takes a lot of courage to do that, asking those questions and really digging deep and being honest with yourself and finally defining that and then owning it. And so when I did that for me and defined my branding words and my brand foundation of who I am just as a human being, it gave me this permission slip to be myself. And the more I leaned into who I was versus who I thought I should be, we don't should here. No. We leave the shoulds behind. We go into who we need to be, who we were called to be, what that motivation is calling us to do. That's really what has given me the courage to step out, because the feedback I get from people, sometimes it's not great, but those aren't my people, so I don't even worry about it. But the feedback I get from people who actually matter, it's like, okay, you're validating that it's okay to be different. It's okay to step out. All of those pieces come into play once you own who you are and that brand. But it does take work, and it does take courage for sure.
And one thing that I really enjoyed about your journey, and you've been open about sharing your journey with dyslexia and ADHD.
Yes.
And that hasn't stopped you. Like, you are a published author who wrote The Connection Method.
A miracle.
I struggled just to read a book at times, let alone write one.
Yep.
How did the confidence come about to do that, to write that book?
I don't know if it was confidence. I think it was actually like the call from my community needing this book, as well as like my hyperfixation and like my hyper focus. So I actually used my superpowers, which a lot of people think ADHD and dyslexia are disadvantages, but I personally think they're superpowers, because I'm able to hyper focus. I'm able to create something that didn't exist before and think outside the box and create this new way of branding yourself, which then helps impact others. And just all of these pieces. It took me 3 years, and I had a lot of editors help me with it. And there are plenty of typos still in there. And there were many a times I was crying on my bed, just like trying to push through writing a chapter, because it is so hard to focus and write and get the words out of my creative brain onto the paper. But again, I'm motivated by impact. And so when I had those hard moments of writing this book and creating this whole concept, I truly imagined the people that this was going to help. I'm like, I know that what I'm writing in this book, in the Connection Method, is going to help people and impact people. And it really has. And I remember, side story, the day I published the Connection Method, it was still kind of like after COVID a little bit. We couldn't do it like an in-person deal. And we had a online Instagram live. We had a ton of people on there. I had balloons in my house, dressed up. We had giveaways. It was like a party online, and the adrenaline was just pumping. And then once I shut down the live, it was just me alone. And it hit me what I had done of, oh my gosh, I just put my story out there in the world. I just put this cockamamie idea about branding when there's so many other more qualified people to talk about branding and marketing yourself and putting yourself out there and all this. Who am I? Who am I to do this? And I almost took my book off Amazon that night because the imposter syndrome smacked me across the face and was just like, who are you? Like, you just put this little book, this little pink book together about connecting and branding. Like, who are you? But then I remembered some advice I gave myself in the book. Basically, I listened to what I had written. And one thing that brought me out of that pit was focusing on this one phrase. which was focus on your community, not your competition. Focus on your community, not your competition. And it reminded me of all those people I imagined writing in bed, crying of like, I know this is going to help. And if it helps one person, as cliche as that sounds, like we're good, putting out my childhood traumas and sharing my different stories so that we, people can know about how I got to where I'm at. And I'm so glad I didn't pull it, because I did focus on my community and the people that actually needed it, because it really has made an impact, which is my end goal.
Yeah.
So.
And what has been some of the biggest mind shift changes that readers have spoken about to you?
Yeah. So between the connection method and just me unapologetically showing up as myself online, the biggest feedback I get all the time is it's a permission slip to be myself. It is a permission slip to be myself, getting that validation, getting that clarity and direction. There's actually a story in the connection method I talk about Alex Honnold climbing El Cap in Yosemite, and from the documentary Free Solo, about how he didn't just decide one day to climb El Cap without ropes. No, it was a multi-year project, and he had a map and he memorized every single piece of that granite slab going up that. And I talk about how you need to have a plan. Like if you want to step out and know who you are and be unapologetic about it, you got to ask yourself the questions. You got to map out, you got to have clarity. You got to do the difficult things to get that clarity. So clarity and, permission slip to be themselves, which is the best goal possible.
Right. And Kelsey, you said it all started with your grandpa, Paul.
Yes.
What did he teach you about connecting with customers that still guides everything you do?
Yeah. So what my grandpa taught me is incredible advice for business owners, content creators, humans in general. So whether you fall into one of those three categories, this is going to be applicable to you. So my grandpa Paul was a master entrepreneur. He had so many different businesses, and he was a florist in downtown LA in the glory days of Hollywood. He had a sailboat business, so many different things. And then when I was 11 years old, he saw that I would play business. Like, well, a lot of kids were playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I was playing like Blockbuster. I was playing McDonald's. I was just like slinging deals left and right because I had this entrepreneur spirit. And so he's like, all right, Kelsey, you when I was 11, he was like, all right, let's start your first business. And so we started Kelsey's Jewelry, where we imported silver jewelry from Mexico and sold it to little boutiques. And I was so excited because I'm like, oh my gosh, it's not just like plastic McDonald's food. This is real stuff. Let's do this, guys. And so I remember my grandpa, we set all this jewelry out on that like black leather tray, all laid out to go sling our wares in downtown Bellingham. And when we got to downtown, he looked at me and he said, all right, Kelsey, we're going to leave the jewelry in the trunk. We're not bringing it in. And I was like, pardon? Excuse me? I thought we were supposed to be selling our wares. And he was like, no. So we went into the boutique. We said nothing about the jewelry. He asked about the owner and their story and how long they've been there and what is their favorite thing they sold, or what's a fun story of a crazy customer. And then we left. We did that at the next boutique. Hi, I'm Paul. This is my granddaughter, Kelsey. Blah, blah, blah. Nothing of the jewelry. And I left there so confused. And when we finally got back in the car, my grandpa's like, Kelsey, it's not about the jewelry. It's about the relationships, because once you build the relationships, the jewelry will sell itself. So we kept coming back and building relationships. And by the fifth or sixth time, we brought our jewelry in and it was sold out the first day. Like, that's when it clicked in my brain. And my grandpa Paul really is the foundation of the connection method and everything I do today, which is about impact and relationships and not making it about the jewelry, not making it about the thing you're slinging. It's about the relationships and the stories you tell and share. So yeah, Grandpa Paul. Yeah. And the connections. Yeah. Grandpa Paul, he's a legend for sure.
For sure. Shout out Grandpa Paul. Now let's talk about branding photography.
Yeah.
What makes a branding shoot actually feel like someone and not like a generic smiling with laptop?
Yeah. So one of the things that I really work with my branding photography clients is what is the story we're telling? Because, I work with a lot of realtors. I work with a lot of business owners that they're like, I want a picture with my laptop. And we do those. But I'm like, okay, but You do more than just laptop. What else do you do? And we also, make sure they're wearing their branding colors, that they're representing who they are and communicating who they are through different ways, through their colors, through their props, through the location that we're shooting at. It's a whole process. There's a pre-production to make sure that we're using the best part of or best time, and all of those little details really make a great brand photo to tell the story, not just go generic of who is this person, who are they, what is their story. Let's illustrate that. So a lot of times on my branding shoots, we'll do the generic, what I call it, the work it set, where we're with the phone, we're with the laptop. And then I'm like, all right, what makes you different? What do you do outside of work? Let's illustrate that. And that's where some of the most impactful photos come out.
Oh, that's wonderful. One thing that you've done really great to give back to the community is you're teaching photography, both camera and iPhone. A lot of people use their mobile phones as their primary camera. How has that been, being able to give back to the community? And then is there any instant tips that you would have for somebody?
I have so many tips. So I definitely shoot with my pro gear, but I'm going to say I love shooting with my iPhone more than I wanted. Because the iPhone is great and you can do so much with it. And so don't let not having professional gear hinder you from creating, whether it is content creating or creating just for your soul while you're out on the trail, while you're out exploring the world. Your iPhone is more than capable of creating incredible images. I say, tip wise, I always tell people, do your normal photo and then do a set that looks at it from a different perspective. So don't look at the camera, look off in the distance, turn your back towards it and look back. So switch up the pose. Don't look at the camera. Don't look at the camera challenge. Look everywhere else. And some of those are the most epic photos. Another thing I teach people is use your zoom. Never pinch zoom. Always click the zooms on the bottom, because that actually is going to correlate with the lens that is on your iPhone, because it can diminish the quality. But if you want to make your mountains bigger, put a 2 or a 5x zoom and then walk really far away and do a self timer. Okay. But, start using the zoom to create different dimensions and depths in the photo. My iPhone photography class is definitely one of my favorite things, because it makes elevating your photos on your phone so easy and accessible, because it's so it's like stupid simple tips, but nobody knows about them. And I'm like, let me tell you it all. No gatekeeping here.
And Kelsey, where can they find the online photography course? Yeah,
they can go to my website, kelseykurtis.com, Kurtis with a K. The Kurtis with a K. That is the hub for all things Kelsey. And there's all the things there that you can find.
You've been really adventurous over the last couple of years, going to amazing places across the world. For you, how has it been incorporating travel into everything that you do?
It has been a life force that has just ignited more core elements of who I am. Travel is so important. And I recently was talking to a friend of mine who's in her early 20s, and she's like, I don't know if I ever need to leave the US. Like, I don't know if I ever need to travel. And I said, hey, you know what? You do you, boo, if that's your journey, what have you. But there's so much you can learn from travel. And the most important thing is learning empathy and seeing that America isn't all and learning about other people's cultures and challenging yourself, pushing your comfort zone. That's where growth can happen, and empathy can really grow as well. It's travel for me, whether it is, backpacking in the North Cascades or in the Middle East or what have you. Like, there's just something that just, like, my feral side unlocks even more feral. That feels so true to me. And I recommend travel to everybody, because it's so impactful and can really change your life, because it changes your perspective and pushes your comfort zone in the most beautiful way.
And do you have any tips for somebody who's on that brink of wanting to enjoy those adventure spaces, but might be a little timid or might be scared of
Honestly, group travel is the way to go. I know I started really getting heavier into travel with Lindsay from One Girl Wandering. Please give her a follow. She does incredible group trips that open my world. And it's a really great place, a safe place to go and explore. There's other people that you have touch point, and you have a guide that can lead you through, and it just opens up a safe portal to be like, all right, can I do this? Okay, I can. It gives you that confidence. So group travel is really, honestly, a great place to start for sure. For sure.
And one place they could do it is at Camp KK.
That is very true.
Can you share a little bit about what Camp KK is and what people can expect?
Yeah. So group travel has been such an instrumental piece of who I am and unlocking confidence and pushing my comfort zone and unlocking who I am in the most beautiful way. And so my community was asking, hey, Kelsey, I want to travel with you. I wish I could go there and you were there to do photos or what have you. And so I launched my first group trip. We're calling it Camp KK. My community just kind of named it that. And I love it because I love the idea of, as adults, like we're campers at this fun, adventure travel opportunity. So yeah, we have our first group travel event happening in the Olympic National Park. We're going to do a snowshoe adventure. And then we have a North Cascades backpacking trip, which is going to be perfect for people who've never backpacked before or, intermediate, because all you have to do is show up with your boots and your clothes. Everything else is provided. And then we have a few more international trips. We're working on Iceland and Kenya to go and explore the world in a safe way, but always having that little gritty moment to push that comfort zone. And all of the trips will include a Kelsey photo shoot photography moment where I will teach you what to do with your hands and not feel awkward in front of the camera. So that's going to be a really fun element to include professional photography in those trips as well. So not only are you pushing your comfort zone and enjoying a great travel opportunity, but you're like, look at these amazing photos of me on a mountain.
And I know the first couple trips went like hotcakes.
Yes.
Is there still spots available for upcoming trips?
We launched Camp KK snowshoe trip that sold out in like 5 hours. That was crazy. North Cascades will be opening actually probably around the time this comes out, but it might be sold out by the time you're watching this. So check your local listings. We'll see, but they do go really, really quick, which is like the best feeling. So,
and who's it not necessarily targeted to, but who are you trying to reach?
So my demographic generally is women in midlife, like the 35 to 50-year-old range. I have amazing 20-year-olds in our group too, but I really love speaking to that women in midlife demographic because I feel like they're so underrepresented in not only the outdoor space, but also in travel and content online. There's a million and one 20-somethings just fresh out of college or in college doing van life, going here, going there, which is great, but we really need someone to talk about a great sleeping pad for our old brittle bones and how we're going to be doing this. And also like real bodies and talking body confidence and how our bodies have shifted from not when we were 20 years old. And so my bread and butter are really women in midlife, giving them an opportunity to feel seen and feel heard in my stories and our group trips, and yeah, just representing the ladies in midlife.
Love that. And Kelsey, you did something incredible. I think a lot of us have these bucket lists of places, destination hikes. And I think for you at age 15, you had this dream of going to Antarctica.
I did.
And then 23 years later,
ding, ding,
you were there.
Yeah.
Was there a moment, whether it was when you landed there, when you were on the boat, when you got to see Antarctica, where it's like, I made it. I did it.
Yeah, I was 15 when I found out that like real people can go to Antarctica and not just like the cool scientists on National Geographic. And I was like, oh my gosh, real people can go? Immediately, number one bucket list item. And I signed up for Quark Expeditions, like travel books. So every year I would like pawn over all of their like Arctic and Antarctic expeditions every year and dreaming. And I'm like, oh, it's $60,000. This will never happen. Or this is $100,000 trip around the world. Like all these things. I'm like, this will never happen, but it is number one. And then, my friend Lindsay from One Girl Wandering, we were on a trip in Jordan, and our last night, she had an Antarctica trip coming up, and she asked me to be the expedition photographer of that trip. So not only did I go to go to Antarctica, I got to be the photographer for the expedition, which again blew my mind. I told Lindsay I wish she would have recorded it, because it was probably the most ugly crying in the history of ugly crying in the history of the world. When she asked me, I collapsed. I was just an absolute puddle. But when I got there, I still, like, I was adventuring, I was exploring, I was enjoying, but I was there on work, and I had a job to do, an amazing job that I loved, photographing the travelers and everything, but I was still like focused on getting this done. It really hit me in two places. Like, it really hit me when we were in Port Lockroy. And if you're listening to this, please Google Port Lockroy. Basically, it's like just a ton of, I'm going to over exaggerate, but like, 14 mountains surrounding you in a bay of icebergs, and there's like animals everywhere, and there's the Penguin post office there. It was an out of body experience of how beautiful it was. And we had a bluebird day. It was incredible. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, she's here. Oh, okay. Back to photographing. Like, I had a moment. And then our last stop, we were in the Zodiac. We were in a whole like bay of icebergs that were taller than most homes. It was insane. And then our guide said, all right, we got to head back to the ship. It's time to go home. So then I finally put my camera down, and I realized I'd made it to Antarctica. And there's actually my friend Tom, who is the videographer, has a video of me starting to like sob on the Zodiac, because it finally hit me of like, oh my gosh, I made it. And I have to tell you, it's probably taken me now a year to actually realize I went to Antarctica. And I know that's not everybody's dream, but I encourage everyone who's listening, like, what is your Antarctica? And put it at the top of your list and make it happen some way. Start the relationships. Because I got Antarctica because of relationships, because of what Grandpa Paul taught me, right? And start making those relationships, start having those conversations. What is your Antarctica? What is your top dream? Because you can have it. If this, 6 foot tall Sasquatch with a camera who just does crazy things can go to Antarctica, her number one dream, you can too. Do what you want to do. So yeah, it was unforgettable. Still processing the fact I went there.
And that just planted the seed, because like, it's not one and done. You want to go back. Right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I have my eyes on the Cape Town flight and landing on Antarctica and trekking to the South Pole. Oh yeah, no, she's not done. And also we've got the Arctic too. I got to go hang out with the polar bears. So she needs to keep going. We got adventures to do.
And I know this is going to be tough, because Antarctica is just otherworldly.
Yes.
But is there like either a landscape or a photograph that you took, or just something that you witnessed where it still plays in your mind?
All I answer is yes, because like it's the quiet, like when they shut the Zodiac motors off and you just hear the quiet and the crackle of these giant icebergs. That's incredible. But also the fact I went to Antarctica with a Backstreet Boy, we haven't even talked about that, but that was okay. So Howie from the Backstreet Boys was friends with the DJ who was on board, and it was his last continent. So him and his lovely wife joined us on our ship, a ship full of millennial women going to Antarctica with Howie from the Backstreet Boys. And I sang I Want It That Way with him on board and did a photo shoot with him and his wife in Antarctica. It is probably the most crazy thing that has ever come out of my mouth. Like, oh, you went to Antarctica? But I went with a Backstreet Boy. What? Yeah, and some people don't think it's real. Some people think I've AI'd the photos. They're like, no, that's so outlandish. That would never happen. I'm like, no, it really did. Yeah.
What an incredible experience, especially to share it with the Backstreet Boys.
I know. But honestly, like Howie and his wife Lee were absolutely incredible. But I got to tell you, like the women and a few guys were on the trip too. The travelers and experiencing Antarctica with them was just incredible, because seeing it through so many different perspectives and eyes, and seeing what people are excited about here and over there, like that was so amazing, and creating so many like lifelong friendships from that trip too. 10 out of 10 recommend, except the Drake Passage.
Yeah, I gotta ask, because the Drake Passage is known for being,
Yes.
horrible.
The most dangerous waters in the world? Is that what you're trying to say? Yeah.
People will chum the waters.
Yeah.
And I think you have mentioned that a lot of people on the boat got sick.
Yeah. We had what is called the Drake Lake, which was still, I think, 6-8 foot tall waves, and it was calm, but half the ship went down, including me. And I had the seasick I had all the seasick medicines, did nothing. And then I went to the ship doctor, and he handed me some pill, and I took it, and I was great. I don't think it's FDA approved, but it saved our whole ship. And he was doling them out like Smarties all day long, just like Skittles. Here you go. And it was a miracle drug, and I don't know what it was, but it saved my life. And I was able to go back to doing my job. Because that first day on the Drake Passage, I think I took maybe 3 photos because she was down. She was down for the count. But then I took that, and I was good the rest of the trip. Got the sea legs, got the medicine. That's why I'm excited about the flight into Antarctica. But I would do it again.
How was the trip back?
Long. I got upgraded to Delta One, which was the best decision of my life. It was great. It was great.
And you mentioned that there's a lot of different excursions or expeditions that will take you to Antarctica. How or what tips would you have for folks that are curious about visiting Antarctica?
Oh my gosh.
What should they avoid?
Okay, I am so excited you asked me about this because I learned some insider tips. Get your teacup because I'm going to spill the Antarctica tea. Get ready. Get your crumpets. Let's go. So what I learned, and I did see this is true, is in Ushuaia, Argentina, which is the southernmost point of the world, Ushuaia, Argentina, at the docks where all of the ships leave for Antarctica, there are these little like house kiosks that are owned by these expedition companies. And basically, if you can get yourself down to Ushuaia and you don't have a ticket to Antarctica, you can buy a very, very heavily discounted ticket from these expedition companies that have open spots on these ships. Now, you have no idea who you might be jumping on board with. Like we had a couple, like it was a ship that we chartered with One Girl Wandering, but we had a couple scragglers that joined us on board, some older gentlemen that they had no idea that a Backstreet Boy and a bunch of millennial women who love champagne were on board. So that was, you don't know who you're going to be on board with. But if your goal is to go to Antarctica, go to Ushuaia, get a ticket on one of these ships that have discounted tickets, and you can go to Antarctica at a very, 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 very discounted rate. Ooh. And if I would have known that when I was 15, I probably would have gone way earlier than I did with 38.
Oh my gosh, that's a great tip. I'm going to have to look into that.
Yeah. Are you going to go to Antarctica?
Well, I'm going to South America. That's my next big trip.
Okay.
Patagonia.
Okay. Well, it's you're right there. Hop on, get the magic pill. You're good to go. Ivan's gonna be hopped up on something on the ship. Hikes and mics.
I might be hallucinating the Backstreet Boy.
Absolutely. Howie was there.
I swear.
I saw him riding a penguin. I want it that way. Squawk, squawk.
Now, Kelsey, you've traveled to other amazing places, Budapest, Jordan, Mexico. You recently came back from Europe.
Yeah.
What has traveling to all these different places taught you about visiting different cultures, different history, especially in Jordan, because you went to a special place in Jordan.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the bucket list was Antarctica and then the Treasury building in Petra because I needed to be Lady Indiana Jones. And I dressed like her and I did it. It was amazing. And I got interviewed by Jordanian Tourism Board because I looked like Indiana Jones at Petra. But no, truly, in all seriousness, I love traveling to the Middle East because it is nothing like the media tells you. The media lies so much about the Middle East and its people and its culture. It is so amazing. I'm planning to go to Iraq in 2027 with Lindsay from One Girl Wandering because I love seeing places for myself and experiencing the culture for myself and actually getting my own perspective versus a perspective fed to me through a certain lens. And yeah, Jordan is absolutely amazing. I'm heading to Pakistan this year, which I'm so excited about. And rumor has it has the most friendly people in all of the Middle East. And I am so excited to see that and go to Fairy Meadows, which is in the Himalayas. And yeah, I love the Middle East because the people I've experienced there are absolutely incredible, giving, kind, warm. And I think that's the best gift travel can give you is letting you form your own perspective, not something someone else has fed you.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you can get to Jordan, get to Pakistan and see how amazing it is. Or maybe not, maybe it'll just my secret, my little secret.
Because you're right. I think for a lot of people, the Middle East does have this like taboo outside of like Abu Dhabi and those type of places,
Yeah,
Dubai.
exactly.
What about those places specifically kind of brought you to go there?
Well, the first thing was, Petra and going to the Treasury building was number 2 on my bucket list. And then everything else, I just was like, what else does Jordan have for me? And we got to swim in the Dead Sea and we got to, honestly, one of my favorite days in my entire life is yipping through the Wadi Rum Desert in the back of this janky Jeep where some of them got stuck, some were stranded, but we were just going down what's called Matt Damon Mountain because that's where The Martian was filmed. And it was this giant sand dune. We went down and just were going so fast and the Wadi Rum Desert and staying in this bubble glamping tent and riding camels at sunrise and just the realness of the landscape and the grittiness of the landscape and great people. Yeah, no, I truly I love the Middle East. I cannot lie. It's amazing.
And one thing that you do well is blend your adventure spaces with comedy and humor. Like dressing up like Indiana Jones. Like that's something I would want to do, but
absolutely
there is that fear of like, oh, should I do it? Should I do it?
Why wouldn't you?
Right.
You're going all the way.
Might as well go big, right?
Well, exactly.
How do you blend that humor and comedy with your connection and travel?
Well, I don't think I do it intentionally. I think it's just who I am. Because the things I have in my brain of, oh, that would be fun. That feels like me. Let's do that. I think it's just part of my personality and who I am. Again, I have a permission slip to be myself from myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just kind of lean into it. And if I can make someone laugh at my goofy expense, that's the best feeling in the world.
And I think for a lot of people, sometimes you get that voice in your head where it's like, maybe that's a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a little too over the line.
Ivan, here's the thing. I actually have a club. And your listeners, if they identify with this, they are welcome to join the club. It's called the Too Much Club. And it is a group of people who have been told that they're too much their entire life, but they have a welcome place in Kelsey's Too Much Club because honestly, the people who are too much are always the ones making the big moves, are the ones that are changing the world, that are disrupting a narrative, that are going against the shoulds, that are taking the courageous leaps into the unknown. So too much is so good in my world. So join the Too Much Club if you feel like you identified with any of those characteristics, because it's a good club to be.
And, one thing that you, I think, are known for in a very hilarious way is the crotch pot.
Yes, I am now called the Crotch Lady, and I love it so much. I want to get a name tag. It's amazing.
And we actually have a special Kula cloth.
Yes. Anastasia made that for me once 100 people sent her the crotch pot video, and I love it so much.
Can you take us through that now iconic moment that is now in your lore?
I know. And I really love it so much because it was not intended to be some big thing, but it became a thing. And someone had sent me a video about the crotch pot on Instagram. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need to do this immediately. And so I ordered one from Gossamer Gear. If you don't know what the crotch pot is, it is a real thing. If you're watching the video, I'm holding it up. It is a real thing for backpackers to cold soak their meals while hooking it to their crotch so their body heat warms it up. But so that's what the crotch pot is. And so I got this video sent to me, and I was like, I need to try that. So my last backpacking trip of 2025, I went up to Lake Ann. I brought the crotch pot, and I was like, all right, today's the day. We're gonna cook our lunch on our way down. And man, it was a fun filming thing. I tried noodles, or what people have now nicknamed croodles, crotch noodles, on the side of the trail. And I really took the test seriously. I was like, I want to test this out if this is a legit thing. And it is a legit thing. And it has really become its own thing. And I love it so much. The crotch pot is a part of who I am. I love it.
You were able to share the croodles recipe. And that actually reminds me that my recipe's done baking. And shout out to Becca from I Am Becca on Instagram. She got me into summit cakes.
Okay.
And I figured, like, if you can cook noodles, could you also in your crotch? Couldn't you bake in your crotch? And nobody wants a like hard ice cold brownie, right? Nobody wants that.
Use of hard. Continue.
So this is probably for.
This is for the Patreon. Only crotch.
Only crotch.
What do you have going on? Okay, we've got a Ziploc bag happening. You just removed the crotch pot from your crotchal area. There is a black item coming out of the crotch pot.
These are freshly baked brownies. And then I want to give you options.
Oh my gosh.
Apple pie.
Oh my gosh.
Freshly
I would love
baked.
to eat your crotch pie. I would love They are warm. They're lukewarm, just like a croodle. Okay.
I will try the crotch brownies.
Can I tell you, pie is actually one of my favorite summer snacks. So I really feel at home. Yeah. This is amazing.
A game changer.
This is wonderful. It is lukewarm. How was it wearing it? It was comfortable. It's a soft Tyvek material. Yeah.
You hardly notice it's there. It's lightweight.
Okay, hold on. You really wrapped this well. You know, a lot of people in the comments of the crotch pot were worried about leakage, but if you wrap your crotch food well, no leakage.
No
Cheers.
leakage. Cheers.
Crotch brownies, crotch pie. Mm-hmm.
Mm.
You know, I've not eaten something made in another person's crotch, but I gotta say, Ivan, you make a great pie, a great crotch pie.
I'm a baker. Mm-hmm. You can find the recipe on hikesandmikes.com.
Delicious. It would be absolute garbage if we just pulled this off the counter. Your crotch gave it a great season.
Right? It's all about the sazon. Now, one thing you mentioned, Kelsey.
Oh, wait, we have more things to talk about? Because I'm enjoying your crotch pie. Okay.
I'll let you finish it.
Hold on. Let me go home. Let me clear my mouth so we don't have food sounds to the people who hate the food sounds. Oh my God.
It could be ASMR.
Some people like it. Hey, different strokes, different folks. Jordan's dying. I wish y'all could watch Jordan, who's behind the camera right now. She is literally like in distress laughing. Do you need some oxygen, love? Or do you need a crotch cookie? Yeah.
Brownie or pie?
Thanks for letting me share that. That was great.
Thank you, Kelsey. And
it was lovely.
You mentioned like you're still getting comments and DMs about it. Has there been either one that's made you laugh out loud or maybe one that's so unhinged where you're just like, okay?
All of the above. Like, I highly recommend, if you haven't watched the crotch pot video, please do, and then immediately run to the comment section. Crotch noodles is called croodles. That was a really good one. The camel toaster, that was a good one. Let's see here. If you get a group of people together, it's called a crotch luck. That one's really good. One of my favorite was crotch pocket. I did a few videos reading the comments because they're so epic. I've pinned it to my Instagram because the pun, I love a pun. And so everybody just went gangbusters. Beaver buffet. We almost got a spit take from Ivan. I was waiting for that. No, the comment section's unhinged, nonstop, absolutely incredible. 10 out of 10 recommend reading the comment section.
Oh, and you know, one thing we like to do here on the podcast, Kelsey, is do a deep dive into our guest Instagram.
Yep.
and it was hard to choose between crotch pop until we saw Hot Hagrid. And I knew we had
Ivan, your listeners are like, who the hell is this lady? If they don't know who I am, they're like, who is this woman? We're talking about crotch meals and Hot Hagrid. Tell me more. Okay. What is the question?
Who is Hot Hagrid and how'd she come to be?
How'd he come to be? He's technically my drag king persona. So there is this incredible Airbnb called the Half Giant Hut in Toledo, Washington. And there's this mom and daughter who recreated Hagrid's hut. And you can go and stay, and they literally handmade this giant bed and all of these characters, and it is literally just like Hagrid's hut from Harry Potter. And so they reached out and asked if I wanted to do a collaboration, and I said, of course, but of course I'm bringing costumes. And so my friend Madeline and I went, and she went as a Death Eater. I bought a Hagrid costume because I wanted to do some like portrait work at this Hagrid hut. And I put on the Hagrid outfit and I looked in the mirror and I was like, am I attracted to myself? Because there's nothing hotter than a hairy bearded man in, a long trench coat who loves animals and loves walking in the woods. And I looked at myself and I was like, God, I would do me. I'm hot. I am Hot Hagrid. And so we did the photo shoot. The photos are absolutely epic. And it just kind of became, again, part of the Kelsey lore. And then I recently went to Europe for the Christmas markets. And in Slovakia, we were on one of those like river ships and where we made multiple stops. And Bratislava, Slovakia, the Christmas market was really close to the ship. Mm-hmm. So I explored Bratislava as Kelsey. And then lunchtime, I went back to my room, got in the Hagrid outfit, except the wig and beard, because I had to smuggle this life-size owl decoration off the ship because I needed a prop, obviously. And I put it under my beard and my trench coat and like waddled like a deranged cockroach off the ship. And then I put my wig and my beard on and walked the streets of Bratislava with this fake owl as Hot Hagrid. The sausage guys loved it. We did lots of selfies with the sausage vendors, of course, not cooked in crotch pots, open flame. Kids loved it. There were some very sus kids. We had some great drunk ladies who just couldn't get enough of me. And it was literally my favorite day of the entire trip, just walking through as Hot Hagrid. Some older generations thought I was either Rasputin, who is like the con man of the Russian Empire, mm-hmm. or a pickpocket that I wanted you to take a picture with me and I would slyly pick your pocket, which cannot confirm or deny I didn't do that. I'm kidding. But yeah, so Hot Hagrid has now become part of the lore, and gosh, I look great in a beard. I gotta tell you. So yeah, stay tuned, follow along for more Hot Hagrid content. You never know when he'll pop up. You never know.
And Kelsey, one thing that was great about you in Europe is like people were coming up to take pictures with you, right?
Oh yeah, and I was pickpocketing. Okay. Yeah. And there was one kid who did like the two eye like type deal and just like, I don't know about you. And yeah, people were getting photos and it was wonderful.
Have some of those strangers been able to find you and tag you on social?
No, because I actually carry adventure cards, which is actually a great tip for people who are content creators who are adventuring and traveling, is I have adventure cards that have different photos, almost like trading cards, and have all my social handles. So when people see me out creating content or just being Kelsey in general, I hand out my adventure cards. But I wasn't Kelsey, I was Hot Hagrid. So it was just the mystique that just whisked through Bratislava, and it was just that moment, that time, all of that. I walked by the police officers too. They could care less either. I was like trotting around like Hot Hagrid, like, let's get a reaction from the cops in Slovakia. Probably not a great idea. And they couldn't care less. So it was just a moment in time. Yeah.
I can't wait to see where Hot Hagrid pops up in 2026.
Who knows? I don't choose Hot Hagrid. Hot Hagrid chooses me.
Love that. Now, Kelsey, these last couple questions are questions that we like to ask all our guests.
Wonderful.
The first one is, when it comes to an end of the hike routine or maybe a summit routine, For some of us, it's packing a favorite snack or meal in the crotch pocket, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Moment of zen. For others, it's also getting that favorite meal afterwards. Is there a regular summit routine or end of the hike routine you do?
Absolutely. I always put a sweet treat in my car because like I have to work towards something. And so there's a sweet treat in my car. And then I don't actually drink coffee, which it surprises a lot of people, but I drink like sparkle energy drinks. It's called Ardor and there's no like sweeteners or anything. So I always put a fresh little Ardor sparkle drink. It's lukewarm by the time I get there, but I do not care. So like a little cookie or a little like Australian licorice or, you know, some sort of gummy bear or something. There is a sweet treat waiting for me after I get done with the hike because there's nothing worse than doing it all. And then all you have is leftover crotch noodles. And you're like, well, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's always a sweet treat in the car.
Okay. And then this next one, I'm curious because I imagine you have a couple different luxury items that you pack on trail, but is there one that comes out frequently?
Well, here's the deal is that I actually think I would be a pretty ultralight backpacker if I wasn't a professional photographer, because once you add those cameras, it is like I'm a pack mule. It is like I'm just carrying rocks up a mountain, but it's worth it. So I would say like my camera gear, it's quite aggressive. But I would say gear wise, good sleep is a non-negotiable for me. I will never sleep on one of those egg pads. Like, no. These hips don't lie and they do not like that. And so I'm going to do a lovey plug because I love my Thermarest Neo Loft thick orange sleeping pad. She is thick. She's a hot lady. She doesn't wrinkle. She doesn't crinkle. She just shows up and lets me sleep. That is, I mean, it does weigh a little bit more. It does take up more space, but it is a non-negotiable. And that's actually something I tell people when they're buying gear is like, figure out what is the most important thing to you. A lot of people like it's their camp chair, which is their luxury item. I do not care about I'll sit on a rock. I don't care. But my night's sleep is the most important thing. So it was worth investing in a really good pad, but also like carrying that. I will always have my Neo Loft. It is the best thing. And if you're a woman in midlife, Neo Loft and you are going to get real cozy if you want to start backpacking. Just saying.
Because it can make or break a trip.
1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000%.
Now, Kelsey, you mentioned already some of the places that you'll be visiting here in 2026, 2027. But is there anything exciting on the horizon for you personally and for your brand or photography?
I'm really excited. I'm going to be heading to Kenya after this or before this airs. I'll be in Kenya in February 26th to prep for a Camp KK trip to Kenya in 27. Pakistan is this spring, which I am beyond excited about. I have to say those two are kind of my top. And then we have Camp KK Iceland coming up, which has been also on the bucket list for so long. And we're going to do it very differently than what you might think an Iceland trip is going to be. It's not your typical hop on, hop off, look at a waterfall, move on. Oh, no. It is going to be an adventure. So if you want to hang out with a whole bunch of women in midlife who want a great adventure in Iceland, that's going to be coming soon.
Oh, I can't wait for that. I think Camp KK is going to be a real big movement here in the next couple of years.
It already is.
Yeah.
Like it really is. I call it grit lux travel. So basically, I always want my campers to feel safe and secure. Whether we're backpacking, we're going to have guides. We'll have all the right gear, all of that for you to be comfortable. Or if we're traveling internationally, you'll have a really good, safe place to sleep, rest your head. We'll have the right people to keep us safe and have that kind of luxe experience of like, where am I? What's going on? No. You'll feel safe and secure. But there's also this grit element, grit lux, because I want to provide points during the trip that challenge their comfort zone, that make them shift their perspective, that show them that they're stronger than they think they are, whether that's with a hike or an experience, or, snorkeling between two tectonic plates in Iceland, whatever it is, I'm always going to have some sort of gritty element to it. So I'm really excited for Camp KK to come out and kind of shift the narrative of what group travel can be.
Yeah. Oh, I love that you're creating those safe spaces for people to enjoy. just not nature, but travel and everything else that comes with it.
Nature will always be a huge element in my personal travels as well as group travels. That was actually one thing that I learned while I was in Europe doing the Christmas markets. I am not a Europe girly, and what I mean by Europe girly is like the cobblestone paths and the architecture and the cafes and shopping and stuff. Like it was fun, but like my heart is in the mountains. And so I'm like, I need to explore Europe mountains and the nature. Like that's where my heart soars. And so there's always going to be a nature element to my group trips because that's the trip I want to go on. And I'm just selfish, I guess.
Oh, can't wait for that to come up. And where can people go find more information on CamK?
Yeah. So they can connect with me on my website, kelseykurtis.com, Curtis with a K, Kelsey M. Kurtis on Instagram. And then there's also Kelsey Kurtis Photo on Instagram. Those are definitely the places to hang out and where you can find everything. My link in bio on Instagram has all the information as well. So
love that.
Yeah.
We'll be sure to put those in the episode show notes so people can check it out.
Also I have a last minute little something. My iPhone photography class, I think for our Hikes and Mike's guests, or not our Hikes and Mike's guests, you're a guest too. You're here with us here. Our Hikes and Mike's friends at home. Check the show notes because I'm going to give you a little discount code for the iPhone photography class. And there's actually a video class in there. I taught a photography class in Antarctica so the travelers could like elevate their photos while they were in Antarctica. I taught that class in that photography, iPhone photography course, and you can learn all the things to make your adventure photos even better.
Ooh.
So yeah, check the show notes for the little discount code.
Thank you so much, Kelsey. I'm really excited for folks to check out the online course and elevate their pictures, whether it's on cruise trip or on travel trips or out in the outdoors. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for having me. This was so fun. I loved your crotch snacks.
Well, we'll have one more section, Kelsey. This is one of my favorite sections of the podcast. It's the this or that questions.
All right, I'm ready.
So I'm going to give you
hot seat. Here we go.
10 hiking and outdoor questions. You choose which one you prefer out of the two.
I'm ready.
You're more than welcome to say both or neither.
Okay.
And then feel free to elaborate if you like.
No pressure. Let's go.
Ascending or descending?
Descending for my brain, ascending for my knees. My knees don't like ascending, but I do. They have a different opinion.
And this one's going to be tough for you in the Pacific Northwest, but waterfalls or summits?
Oh, summits. No question.
Yeah.
No question.
In order to reach those summits, if you had to choose a trail, meaning a trail with switchbacks or a trail that just goes straight up?
Switchback me, baby, all day long. I've done some very, very high grades recently, and I'm like, switchback. No, switchback for me, always.
Okay. And then our most controversial question, trek poles or freehand? Why
is that controversial? The answer is trek poles, obviously. Are they freeballing their hike?
It's a lot of people.
Oh my! Well, here's the thing. I'm a tall, top-heavy human, and I trip and stumble a lot. And so, no, the trekking poles have saved my life on many occasions. Who are these people who are freeballing?
A lot of people, either if they're day hiking, they won't do it, but for backpacking, they will.
Oh, okay. So
there's like a little bit of nuances.
Okay.
But there's some people that will just have it just in case, or maybe carry just one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can approve of that.
Now, when it comes to your outdoor footwear, are you wearing traditional hiking boots or trail runners?
Oh my gosh. Every time I hike, I have this conversation with myself because I know trail runners are just like the cat's meow, the hot tits of the gear industry. Mm-hmm. But I love my Zamberlan leather boots. I call them my Indiana Jones boots. I feel like I'm just like so powerful when I put on my magic boots, and they protect my wobbly little ankles, and they're waterproof. They're amazing. I am a boot girl. I know that's not popular, but it par for the course of me. I always everyone's going one way. I'm like, Kelsey's going the opposite. So I'm a boot girl for sure. I tried the trail runners, almost sprained my ankle 7,000 times. So yeah. I know my truth, and I'm sticking to it.
I've been kind of debating on going to like a hybrid where it's lightweight like a trail runner, but still has that ankle support, because I'm the same way.
Yep.
Trail runners.
Ankles.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, these next couple ones, Kelsey, are some of the hardest ones.
Oh my gosh, I need more crotch snacks to get through this.
When it comes to trail types, do you like a loop trail or an out and back trail?
I like both. I like an out and back because I know what to expect. And I feel like when I do an out and back, I'm always like reflecting on what I just did and like the experience I just had. So I think I'm going to lean a few points towards out and back. Both have merit, unlike trail runners and boots.
And this next one's equally as hard, but sunset hikes or a sunrise hike?
Here's what I like to do. Well, I like to get there for sunset and then I do my camp and then the sunrise. But if I had to choose, probably sunset hike, especially during the summer, because then you still have daylight to get you down the mountain. So sunset, Alex, final answer.
Love it. Now we're, going into spring when this episode comes out, and in Washington,
Thank God we made it through. We made it through.
The dark gray season is over. But Washington is known for their spring wildflowers, as well as about the larches. Mm-hmm. But if you had to choose, would you choose spring wildflowers or
spring wildflowers? 100%, because there's still snow on the glaciers and you still have that. By the time we get to fall, the snow is completely gone. So all you have is for those fall colors, which is still amazing. But I also, springtime flowers means we're actually like getting out of hibernation and we're getting out of the gloom. And spring flowers for sure. Mm-hmm. And also, don't pick the flowers. Leave them there. Do not pick a cute little bouquet. Leave them there, please.
Yeah, don't lay on them.
There's a trend on social where people are picking wildflowers and don't do it.
No.
Leave no trace, baby. That means don't pick the wildflowers. Continue.
Now, this next one, Kelsey, is about your water carrying system. Are you carrying water with a water bottle or hydration pack?
Gosh, I am just like this controversial little kitten over here because I do love a bladder. I tried the water bottle one, but I was actually opposite. I wasn't drinking as much. And I like the ease of that. However, I do have a water bottle for when I get to camp or what have you, and I'll drink out of that. But for actual hiking, I am a bladder babe. Trademark. T-shirts are coming this fall. For the 3 people who have bladder users too.
Now, Kelsey, this last one is a tough one, but I think you might have kind of answered it. Summit beer or drink, or Summit snacks?
Snacks. I am called the snack queen for a reason. Trader Joe's hates to see me coming. I love a snack. I love Australian licorice. I love a really squished peanut butter and jelly sandwich. The more squished, the better. I love a warm string cheese. And I know that's crazy, but it's very nostalgic for me. After skiing as a kid, my mom would pack me a string cheese and it would always be warm by the time. And it peels so much nicer. Mm-hmm. Again, very crotch-related body heat that really loosens up your mozzarella stick. I'm a snack girl through and through.
Okay.
Through and through.
Well, that was it for the This or That questions, Kelsey. One more time, if folks want to learn more about your Camp KK trips, your photography courses, or just learn a little bit about you, where are some of the places online they can find you?
Oh my gosh, if they want to be friends with me, please find me on Instagram, Kelsey M. Kurtis. M is in Mary or Michelle, my middle name. Kurtis with a K, kelseykurtis.com. Here's the thing. If you just Google Kelsey Kurtis with a K, I'm the only Kelsey Kurtis with a K on planet Earth. So you're going to find me, which is also terrifying. Just Google Kelsey Kurtis and you will find probably more information that you actually care about. But I'm excited to connect with your listeners, and I'm just thrilled that you invited me on. This is so great.
Thank you so much for coming on. And I do want to give a special call to action for listeners who either have already bought a crotch pot or are planning to buy a crotch pot because of this episode or because of Kelsey. Make sure when you post it on your social media, don't just tag Kelsey, but also tag
Gossamer
Gear. And let's try to get Kelsey and Gossamer Gear connected because she made me buy it. I know I saw Miranda goes outside, bought one because of your video.
I know on Christmas Day, I was tagged in so many stories.
Yeah.
Like, Kelsey Kurtis made me buy this. And I was like this proud mama on Christmas morning, seeing everybody open their crotch pots under the glow of the Christmas tree lights. And like, you're welcome. But yeah, if you do buy a crotch pot, please, tag me because I want to celebrate your bravery and your lukewarm noodles, or croodles as we call them on the trail.
And that brings us to the end of this episode alongside Kelsey Kurtis. We extend a heartfelt thanks to her for joining us on the podcast. Be sure to follow her on Instagram at Kelsey M. Kurtis. And for more, be sure to check out the episode show notes. This episode of Hikes and Mics was produced by Jordan Smith. Be sure to follow her adventures on Instagram at jordan.journeys. And that is a wrap on season 13 of Hikes and Mics. I want to take a moment to thank every single guest who came out this season and shared their stories, their adventure, their knowledge, and their heart with this community. This season was packed with incredible conversations, and none of it happens without the people who said yes and showed up. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. And to everyone listening, thank you so much. Season 13 has been the most downloaded season in Hikes and Mics history, and that is entirely because of you. You shared the episodes, you left reviews, you sent the DMs, and you kept showing up every single week, and that means the world to me, truly. We're going to take a week to breathe, reset, and get everything ready because season 14 is coming and it's going to be a good one. Mark your calendars. Season 14 premieres Monday, March 23rd, and we got some incredible conversations lined up that I cannot wait to share with you all. Until then, get outside, get after it, and we'll see you on the trails. To make sure you never miss out a moment of these inspiring trail stories, hit that follow or subscribe button. Your support truly keeps the community going through every season. Don't forget to connect with us on Instagram at Hikes and Mics. That's where you'll find behind-the-scenes episode visuals, my own winter hiking adventures, and plenty more to keep the cold weather stoke alive. As we wrap up today's journey, remember, even when the trails are quiet and the mountains are blanketed in snow, the spirit of adventure is still very much alive. So tread those happy trails, stay warm out there, and keep exploring. Until next time, my fellow hikers, happy hiking. This episode's music was created by Ketsa. Follow along with him on Instagram at Ketsa Music. This episode is brought to you by Ursa Minor Outfitters. Folks, I'm absolutely in love with my loon mug. It's handmade, it's an absolute piece of art. Whether it's at the office or at the house, people keep asking to check it out. If you're not a loon fan, they also have other beautiful mugs for wildlife fans of moose, bears, and eagles. They specialize in products highlighting the outdoors and local pride through quality design by local artists. They've even started expanding into items beyond mugs, like apparel, dog accessories, and soon candles and more. They also try to partner and highlight other small businesses, and in some cases, forego profits in lieu of charitable giving to help their community, such as the dog rescue. So check them out, ursaminoutfitters.com, and enter promo code HikesMikes10 at checkout to receive 10% off your order. And for our four-legged hiking partners, they also have a portable silicone dog bowl and also a sweet over-the-collar dog bandana. Go check them out, ursaminoutfitters.com, and don't forget to enter promo code HikesMikes10 at checkout to receive 10% off your order.